This is Soundwave Radio here on andrewhogue.com, and another band that will be gracing the stages shortly is none other than Living Colour, a band that has been around for a hell of a long time and have always pushed the boundaries, and if anything, have always stood apart from the rest of the crowd, always infusing lots and different musical elements, which is why they're still around. So let's welcome frontman, aka Reverend Daddy Love, Mr. Corey Glover from Living Colour. G'day, Corey. How you doing?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing very, very well, and I'm sure you're looking forward to leaving your rather crazy weather conditions to, I guess, endure some of Australia's crazier heat conditions.
Well, I'd rather the heat than what I'm going through right now. I'm so glad that it's summertime there.
Now, let's talk a bit about, of course, the band and their career, and I mean, it's been a long journey for the band. Of course, the band disbanded several years ago and then, of course, reformed. I mean, what has kept the fire sort of burning for you as part of playing with Living Colour?
You know, the band broke up 13 years ago, and it was really, we only broke up for like a year. So what it was we needed a vacation, and that's what we did. We took a break from each other. We decided we needed to get some rest and figure out what we're doing and why we're doing it and what's the reason for doing it. What was important for us was that we didn't do this we weren't making music just for giggles. We weren't doing that. We weren't making music just to get girls. That we had something to say. And when we were really at the point at which the band disbanded, we were really tired, and we weren't giving the message or whatever it was that we were trying to say a fair shake. So we said, you know what, we need to go our separate ways, find our own voices, and come back stronger.
Now let's talk a bit about, of course, the band's sound, because you look at today, everyone has to somehow pigeonhole people's music in order to grasp what they're doing, and it's almost like media or even fans aren't allowing bands to be who they are. You either have to be called, a rock band or a death metal band or a black metal or whatever. Whereas you look at the career of Living Colour, and as I mentioned, you've always fused a lot of different musical genres in your sound, which makes up the Living Colour sound, then hence the word standing apart from the crowd. Do you still feel that people view the band as its unique form, or you feel like people are lumping you into, a certain sort of category today?
We've never wanted to be categorized. We're never going to be categorized. That's not our deal. We don't do that. We don't categorize ourselves. We don't categorize the music we do. We play music. If it feels good for you to call it metal or hard rock or whatever you want to call it at any given point in time, then be our guest. We don't have that. We don't feel that way. We don't feel like music needs a label. Music needs to say something, and how you choose to say it and how you choose to make it happen is really where we're at. We use rock as an aggressive force to make our point in a very strong way. But we also use what somebody might call folk music, or we might use African rhythms, or we might use rhythms of other indigenous people. The blues are, quite frankly, the basis of what we do. You can't put a claim on a music because it's not. You can't claim a music because all music have an emotional center, and you have to use that.
And let's talk a bit about the band's earlier career, because, I mean, when you look back then to now, there weren't a lot of Indigenous bands doing what you guys were doing, especially in the sort of rock / sort of metal world. Now, let's move ahead 20 years.
I respectfully disagree. There were lots of bands. There were not a lot of bands that you heard about.
Yeah.
But there were tons and tons of bands with people that were African American, that were Native American, that were Asian influenced metal bands or funk bands, or there were lots and lots of bands. Just, you know, you or anyone's sort of perspective of seeing these bands is few and far between because because the means by which you got to see them were so limited. Nowadays, you could go anywhere. You could type in anything on your phone, on your laptop, or on your PDA device, and say, "I want to hear music from anywhere," and you'll get it. That's a difference from then to now.
Absolutely.
There was a very limited place for you to go get music. Now that those options are been torn away, you can go anywhere and get any kind of music that you want. Anything, if you want music that speaks to you specifically, it's very simple to do it. And it doesn't require as much energy as it did back in the day, where you had to get a fanzine or check the local music paper. You had to go out and see the band, and you had to hear a song and say, "Oh, that makes sense to me," and then go follow that band. It's a completely different world now in terms of that.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, obviously with the success of the band breaking through to the sort of mainstream, as I mentioned about other Indigenous acts that, as you said, was very difficult. You had to sort of really dig deep compared to the access we have today for finding new music. Do you think that Living Colour did sort of open the doors a bit more for people to take notice of, bands like yourselves of that creed?
I believe it. I believe they did. I believe you could now, right now, you could find that if we didn't get the breaks that we got, and believe me, I'm very grateful for the breaks we did get. We would suffer through anonymity until now. I would imagine there weren't that many people looking for this kind of thing. Now they're bands that are on the radar. Now they're bands with different makeups and different kinds, saying different things and playing music differently that you can find, even if they don't have a hit record, even if they don't have a song that you hear on the radio constant. Because if they did, and now you can, there are places you can go. There are things you can do. There are blogs and there are just the places where you can find nuanced things, and that's a great thing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about your appearance at Soundwave. Which bands are you looking forward to seeing yourself, Corey?
I want to see Alter Bridge. I want to see Green Day. There's a bunch of bands. Five Finger Death Punch. I want to see them all. I know I'm not going to get a chance to, but I'd like to see them all.
And what are you looking forward to most about coming back to Australia for, of course, the festival and just to be in our country?
Australia. The audiences are great. The audiences are very, what I love about it is that they know they don't just know the hits. They get deep into records. They know things. They hear songs and B-sides that we, frankly, sometimes forgot about.
Well, we can get you to choose one of your favourite Living Colour tracks of all time from the back catalogue, Corey, and a couple of last words to the Australian fans. I
don't have any favourite songs. I like them all for different reasons. It's like picking cues, like most people say. I can't pick and say, oh yeah, that's my absolute favorite. I don't have one because they all have they have an experience to them. They have a backstory to them that can't allow me to just say, ooh, yeah.
All right, we'll choose one for you, and a couple of last words to the Australian fans.
Come on down, have a good time. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be there for a while, so come check us out, and we'll have a great time. You and me, let's have a good time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Corey. Look forward to having you here shortly, and let's check out some Living Colour now here on Soundwave Radio on andrewhogue.com.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I'll see you when we get there.